Well, welcome back to the Boondocks Homestead, y'all. I'm glad you're back, and if this is your first time to our channel, I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to go ahead and make our sun-dried tomatoes. It's kind of like a part 2, and yesterday I did a video on how to dehydrate them in the dehydrator, and I've got another batch going, and I've got quite a few tomatoes I'm going to go ahead and sun-dry. So back in the day, they would do this outside. I don't, and they put them on screens and stuff. You can Google it or whatever and research it how they did it outside. I would rather do it inside where there's no bugs and there's no, if I had to do it outside, I would, but right now I'd just rather do it inside, and it's easier for me in this. So I put this on 135, and it took about, I think, 8.5 hours to dry them. You have to go back and watch that video. It's short. And then today we're going to take them, which I forgot to put a dry pack in here last night. So we're going to do that today when I close these back up and seal them. But today we're going to take these and we're going to bring them back to life, or reconstitute them, or however you want to put it. And we're going to make some sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, I didn't have a lid over here, so I used a bowl to put that over that. I was trying to get that water to boiling. So I've got a small saucepan, and I've got the water. You can use whatever size you want, okay? And I've got the water boiling. I probably need my thing to undo this. Oh, I do. Hold on a minute. Well, I don't know where it is. I lose that thing more than I don't know what, so we'll use a spoon. Okay, now I'm not going to put this over the thing because it'll do my other ones. Let me see. Let me pour some in a bowl. About how many I'm going to put in a, well, probably about a little more than half of this. A little more than half in this because they're going to soften up, and probably about that. Let's see. Ooh, I don't know. We'll do about that many. Now you're going to put these in boiling water for 2 minutes. Okay? Let me turn this down just a little bit. Dropped one. Let me get a spoon. 2 minutes. Let me time it here. Okay. And we're going to bring these back to life. It may not take 2 minutes. I don't think it's going to take 2 minutes, y'all. We're going to go ahead and take them off, I think, here. Now we'll wait. I don't want the skins to be hard. Get my... We'll put this in here. And... Ooh, look at that. We don't want them cooked, okay? I'm going to turn that off. We don't want them cooked. We just want them, I think that's going to be good. And we're going to put these over here, let them drain. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, now bring you over here where I can talk to you for a minute. You might be thinking, Chris, why are you going to all this trouble of dehydrating them and then putting them back? Well, you cannot put dehydrated tomatoes in your jar with your olive oil. Timer went off. In your jar with your olive oil to make sun-dried tomatoes. You have to bring them back to a tomato state, okay? So, what I'm going to do is, I guess I can just use this spoon. I'm going to put these out on this paper towel. I probably didn't need all these paper towels, but I wanted to have them in case I did. And I'm going to kind of spread them out. Let me get you down here where you can see. They're hot, so I'm going to kind of just spread them out like this. Now, they've got to dry, but not dry hard like they were in the dehydrator, okay? And they can't have water on them. They've got to be dry, but not dehydrated dry. And they can't have water on them to put them in that oil. Or this is how I do it, y'all. You may find a different way, but this is how I do them, and they stay shelf stable for a long time. That is so hot, though. But I've got to get them separated or they'll be a big clump. So let me separate these, and then I'll bring you back and we'll continue on. All right. I've got them all out, and I did need the other paper towels. Go figure. And I've got them all out on here, and I'm going to let them dry a little bit on this, and then I'm going to flip them over on these cookie trays. I've got another video, a little short, that shows you exactly how to do that. And then they're going to dry, not completely, but where there's not a lot of water on them. You don't want a lot of water, because this is going to be sitting on the counter, and the water somehow, I don't know, it can get botulism, y'all. And so you don't want that. You want to steer clear of that. And sometimes I'll put it in the refrigerator. I don't like to, because then I have to put it in hot water and let it before I do my bread. But if I'm not sure, if I was in a hurry and I wasn't sure that I had, I mean, that's an option. I just want to let you know that's an option. You can put it in the refrigerator. The sun-dried tomatoes, they use them for a lot of things, and they're really good. But I like them especially in bread. So I'm going to get some. Now, normally, I would tell y'all, and I'm probably going to have to go get some more. Now this, well, it says extra virgin olive oil, organic. We don't know. But you never know. But I usually say, well, use your better olive oil, okay, for this. Because it's kind of like, it's not fermenting, but it's similar. And you're leaving it out on the counter, and stuff's in it. So I usually say use your better, but I don't think I have enough. I'm probably going to have to mix some other olive oil with this one, which in that case I may go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. I don't know yet. But I'm telling y'all, I'm probably going to use it up so quick that, that's why I don't make a whole lot at a time. I usually just make a jar this big, and then I use it up. It doesn't stay on my counter for a long, long time. I mean, it has before, but it did not normally. It doesn't, because if I'm usually on a mission, when I'm getting ready to make something with these, I'm on a mission, and that's why I'm making them. I don't make them just to leave them sit. But I will leave it sit at least 24 hours before I make bread with it. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let these dry a little bit. I'll bring you back. We'll put them on the trays, and then we'll go from there. So don't go nowhere, because you're going to want to see this. All right, we're going to try to, I'm going to fold this one over to about that size right there. So I can just flip these over. No, not there. About right there. And I'm going to try, actually, I think we'll just do it this way. Let's see what happens when we do this. I may make a big mess. No. Okay, and then we still got some wrapped up in this. Just makes it a little easier. You can do it one by one if you want. Look, I got tomatoes all over me. You have to shake them a little bit because they're going to kind of be stuck to your towel. Now, the ones that fall through, you're going to have to get them up too. You just want the air to get to them. You know what I mean? Okay, now I'm going to do the other one, and then when they're dry is where I want them to be. I'll come back and I'll show you, and we'll get busy on the next part where we put it together, okay? All right, y'all, I had to put these in the oven for just a little bit because I forgot I have training today for the bus, and so I have to go here in a little bit, so I had to rush this up a little bit. Normally you wouldn't have to, okay? So I just didn't want to put no wet tomatoes in my jar. Now, and also I was going to tell you, a lot of people, they'll quarter their tomatoes and dehydrate them until they're like pliable and flexible. But I find that when you dehydrate these, there's no water in here. Plus, I put a packet in there. And there's not going to be any water in here to grow anything, okay? While you're storing these over the winter or whatever, until you can make your rehydrated tomatoes for whatever. Okay, so that's why I do them in slices like this, because then I know they're dry. There's no guesswork at it. They're dry. But if you want to do it the other way, or you've been taught the other way, that's fine too. But these, I didn't want real wet before I put them in the oil, because they can grow stuff, okay? They can grow a bacteria that can cause botulism or whatever. So what I did was I put some oil in the bottom of my jar, and then I minced up the garlic, put it in the bottom, okay? Now I'm going to start putting my tomatoes in. And you don't have to, there's no, just grab them. You don't have to be. And see, and I also like them like this instead of doing them half in them. I like them like this because I can put this right in my bread dough. I don't have to cut, and, you know, it's just the right size. And when my mixer is mixing it up and stuff, you know, and it'll just tear it up a little bit more, and it'll distribute it throughout my bread dough, and it just works out good for me. So I put a little bit of that in there. Now here's my 2 ingredients. Now I've done another video on this where I used the separate ingredients for it. Now I just use an Italian seasoning. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. I think these are $1 at Walmart or $1.17, something like that. It's just use an Italian seasoning. That's all you need, okay? That's all I use anyway. Then I put a little bit of salt. Let me grab a spoon. I've been messing with those tomatoes, so I don't want to stick my finger down in my salt. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt, okay? And I'm going to put however much of this you think in the bottom of there, okay? It don't have to be measured. You don't want it overpowering, so you don't want to put a lot, but okay? And also, the reason you don't put these in the oil too is because they would be chewy and hard. The rinds would be hard and they'd be chewy, you know, for your sun-dried tomatoes, and you don't want that, right? Get this off here. I had a fan going on them for a little bit, and it's just, but anytime you water them back down, you know, you got to dry them a little bit. But you got to water them down a little bit to put them in your oil before you put them in your oil, or like I said, they'll be tough. Okay, a little bit more oil. And you just layer these guys. And like I said, there's no set amount. I don't have a set amount. And it's probably different every time I do it. That was probably a little bit much salt, so I might skimp on the next layer. Okay. And I put the rest of these in here. Now, the thing with the bacteria growing also, this is what I'm going to do too. I'm going to put some little bit of lemon juice in here, just to be on the safe side, because I'm going to have them out on the counter until tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're going to make some bread. And see, they're soft, but they're not soaking wet. But I still am going to put a little bit of lemon juice in it. Because the more acidic you make it, the less likely that bacteria is to grow. And put a little bit more salt, not a lot. Put some more of this. And then we're going to fill it with oil. Okay, now I used a better oil, but I told you I would run out. Now you see the color, you've seen the color of that. I poured a little bit of this one, I'm sorry. I poured a little bit of this one in the amber jar into this plastic one that's the cheaper oil, okay? So this oil is this one. And now I've got this oil is a cheap one. And there's just not much difference, is there? So you just don't know, okay? So you just use what you got or what you can afford. That's what I say. Because you just don't know what you're getting, really. Oh, it'd be nice if you could just believe and trust everybody about everything, but you just can't always. So it's okay, though. Not a big deal. Now we're going to fill that with oil. Okay, got me a little bit of lemon juice. It's not going to hurt the taste. I'm just going to put a little bit in here. That was probably not even a half of a teaspoon I just put in there, okay? Stir that around. And that's just going to help prevent any bacteria from growing in there while I have it on the shelf. Like I said, I usually don't keep it on the shelf very long. And if I use all I'm going to use and I still have some left, then I go ahead and I put it in the refrigerator for the next time I do something. But make sure them tomatoes are down in there. But I usually just do these, and after I dehydrate them, and then I go ahead and make what I think I'm going to use in whatever recipe, and then I'm done with them, and they're not taking up refrigerator space either, or counter space, or however you're going to do it. Okay? Y'all come back tomorrow. I'm going to make some bread with this. And I just got through looking up. I've never done this, believe it or not. I've never done this, but I'm in my ball book. And I'm going to make some homemade tomato soup. And the only one I know that likes it is myself and my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter. I don't know who else likes it in the family. But I know for sure she does, because that's what she always eats. She just loves tomato soup. And one day I made her this sun-dried tomato bread with some tomato soup just from the store, and she loved it. So I'm going to try making the homemade off the vine. Can you see all those tomatoes over there? I've got more, but I'm going to make her some homemade tomato soup and see how she likes it. So I'm going to can it up for her. And then she can just take it home and have it when she wants it. Have a little goodness from Nana in her jar. So that's what I'm going to do. Y'all come on back tomorrow and we'll make that bread, all right? You don't want to miss this one. All right, so I love y'all. Lord willing, I'll catch you on the next video.